The war had been going on for 3 long years. Every day, ships burned in the darkness between stars. Every week, another planet fell to one side or the other. The galaxy was tearing itself apart, and everyone had to pick a side. Everyone except Earth. President Jake Morrison stood at the window of his office, looking out at the busy streets of Washington. Cars moved below him like tiny ants. People walked to work, bought coffee, lived their normal lives. They had no idea how lucky they were. "Sir, the Catherian ambassador is here again," his assistant said through the door. Jake sighed. "Send him." In. The door opened and Ambassador Crexvalium walked in. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and too many arms. His species had been fighting this war since the beginning. Like most Catherians, he looked tired. "President Morrison," Crexvalium said with his mechanical voice box, "my people need your answer." "The answer is the same as always," Jake said. He sat down at his desk. "This is not our war." "But you could end it," the ambassador said. His arms moved as he talked. "Your ships, your weapons, your soldiers, join us and the Zephyrian Alliance will fall in months." Jake shook his head. "We will not pick sides in your war." The ambassador's skin turned darker. This meant he was angry. "You sit here safe while the galaxy burns." "You are cowards. We are careful," Jake said. "There is a difference." After the ambassador left, Jake called his Secretary of Defense. Lisa Carter came to his office an hour later. She was a small woman with sharp eyes who never smiled much. "How many today?" Jake asked. 47 refugee ships," Lisa said. "Mix of both sides, some wounded, some just running." "We give them food and medicine?" "Of course, same as always." Lisa sat down. "But Jake, this can't go on forever. Every week the war gets worse. Every week more people die." "Not our people?" Jake said, "Not yet." Far above Earth, Admiral Ben Rodriguez watched the stars from Luna Station. The moon base was Earth's main military command center. From here, he could see everything that happened in human space. His aide, Captain Ryan Mitchell, brought him the daily reports. "Sir, 3 more battles yesterday. The Catherians lost 2 big ships near Vega. The Zephyrians lost a whole fleet at Volf 359. Ben read the reports. "The numbers were always bad. Any of them coming our way?" "No, sir. They still think we're not worth the trouble." Ben almost smiled. "Good, let them keep thinking that." The truth was very different. Earth had not been sitting still for 3 years. While the galaxy fought, humanity had been building. Building ships, building weapons, building things the other species had never seen. Dr. Amy Sullivan ran the most secret lab on Earth. It was hidden deep under the mountains of Colorado. Only a few people knew it existed. Even fewer knew what she was making there. "How are the tests going?" she asked her team leader, Chris Parker. Chris looked at his tablet. "The new plasma cannon burned through 6 feet of titanium in 3 seconds. The gravity bomb test, well, we need a new testing area." Amy nodded. "And the big project?" "Nicole is working on it now," Chris said. He pointed to a woman at a computer screen. Nicole Hayes was the best engineer Amy had ever seen. She could build weapons that seemed impossible. "Dr. Sullivan," Nicole called out, "you need to see this." Amy walked over to Nicole's workstation. On the screen was a design that made Amy's heart beat faster. It looked like a normal ship engine, but she knew better. "This will work?" Amy asked. "It should punch a hole right through space itself," Nicole said. "No shield can stop it. No armor can slow it down." Amy stared at the screen. "The weapon could destroy a planet, maybe more than one. How long to build it?" 6 months, if we get the materials." "You'll get them," Amy said. "Build 10 of them." Back on Luna Station, Admiral Rodriguez got a message on his private computer. It was from Amy. The message was short. "Package ready for delivery. Need transportation." Ben deleted the message and called his most trusted ship captain. "Dan Foster, I need you to take a trip to Colorado." "Secret cargo. No questions." "Yes, sir," Captain Foster said. "When do I leave?" "Tonight." The galaxy thought Earth was weak because humans would not fight. The Catherians called them cowards. The Zephyrians said they were fools. Both sides sent ambassadors every week, begging for help or trying to make deals. But Earth's leaders knew something the rest of the galaxy did not. Humans were not good at many things. They were not the smartest species. They were not the fastest or strongest. But they were very good at one thing. They were good at war. For 50,000 years, humans had fought each other. They had learned to kill with sticks and stones, then swords and guns, then bombs that could level cities. They had practiced on each other until they became experts. Now they had taken that skill to the stars. Lieutenant Sam Brooks worked in Earth's communication center. Every day, he listened to messages from across the galaxy. Battle reports, calls for help, surrender demands. The war was everywhere, Lieutenant, his commander called. Anything new? Same as always, sir, Sam said. Both sides are bleeding. Badly, the Catherians lost another core world yesterday. The Zephyrians are running out of ships, his commander nodded. How long do you think it will last? Sam looked at the data on his screen. At this rate, maybe 2 more years before one. Side collapses, but Sam was wrong. The war would not last 2 more years. It would not last 2 more months, because 3 light years away, General Vexstar of the Catherian Empire was making a decision that would change everything. We cannot win this war with only Catherian ships, he told his war council. We need the humans. They have refused us many times, another general said. Then we will not ask, Vexstar said. His eyes were cold and hard. We will take what we need. The order went out that night. 50 Catherian warships changed course. Their target, Earth's outer colonies. On Earth, President Morrison went to bed, thinking about another day of peace. Admiral Rodriguez checked the defense grid one more time. Dr. Sullivan worked late on her terrible weapons. None of them knew that in 72 hours, everything would change. The galaxy was about to learn. What happened when you brought war to humanity's door? General Vexstar stared at the star map in his war room. Red dots showed Catherian defeats. Blue dots showed Zephyrian victories. There were too many blue dots. We are losing this war, he said to his council of generals. The humans could change. That, General Korvax said. Their industrial worlds, their shipyards, their fresh soldiers. They have refused us 12 times, another general replied. They will not help. Vexstar's claws scraped against the metal table. Then we do not ask, we take. The room went quiet. Taking what they needed from a neutral world was against all galactic law, but desperate times needed desperate actions. Their colonies are lightly defended, Vexstar continued. A few mining stations, some research bases, we take those first. When they see we are serious, they will join us or lose everything. And if they fight back? Korvax asked. Vexstar's mouth showed. His sharp teeth. With what? A few patrol ships? Some defense platforms? Humans are soft. They have never fought a real war. The decision was made. 50 Catherian warships would strike human space in 3 days. It would be quick and clean. Earth would surrender. Or watch their colonies burn. They were wrong about everything. Captain Ryan Mitchell was having a normal day on patrol near Europa. His ship, the EDS Vigilant, was checking mining transports and watching for pirates. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. Captain, his communications officer called. I'm getting strange readings from the Jupiter sensor grid. Ryan walked over to look at the screen. What kind of strange? Multiple contacts jumping into the system. Big ones. I count ... 47 ships. Ryan felt ice in his stomach. IFF signals? Catherian, military class. The bridge went silent. Everyone knew what this meant. The war had come to human space. Red. Alert, Ryan ordered. Get me Admiral Rodriguez on Luna. Tell him we have a Catherian fleet incoming. Then get me the Europa mining station. The comm officer's face went pale. Sir, Europa station is not responding. What do you mean not responding? I mean it's gone, sir. I'm reading debris and ... is. Ryan closed his eyes for a second. The war had already started. All ships, this is Captain Mitchell. We are under attack. Repeat, human space is under attack. Fight hard and make them pay for every inch. The Catherian ships were faster than his patrol boat. They caught up to the vigilant near-Io. Ryan's ship had good weapons for its size, but it was still just one small ship against an entire fleet. "Sir, we've got 3 civilian transports trying to run for Earth," his weapons officer reported. "The Catherians are targeting them." Ryan did not think twice. "Put us between the transports and those ships. Give me everything the engines have." The Vigilant flew straight at the Catherian fleet. Ryan knew his ship would not survive, but maybe the civilians would have time to escape. The battle lasted 6 minutes. The Vigilant destroyed 2 Catherian fighters and damaged a cruiser before their weapons finally broke through his shields. As his ship died around him, Ryan sent one last message to Earth. "Admiral Rodriguez, this is Captain Mitchell. They're not taking prisoners. They're not even trying to. They're killing everyone they find. Warn Earth. Warn everyone. This is not. The signal cut out as the Vigilant exploded. Admiral Rodriguez received Ryan's message on Luna Station. The young captain's final words echoed in the command center. Around the room, officers stared at their screens in shock. "How many attacks?" Rodriguez asked his staff. 7 locations hit so far, Colonel Kate Anderson reported. Europa mining station destroyed. New Geneva research facility gone. 3 cargo ships missing. 2 patrol boats destroyed. Casualties? Kate's voice was steady, but her hands shook. "First count says 8,000 dead. But that's just from Europa. We don't have full reports yet." Rodriguez felt old anger wake up inside him. He had fought in Earth's last civil war 20 years ago. He thought those days were behind him. "Sir," the communications officer called. "Mars Colony is sending a distress signal." On the main screen, they watched Mars Colony die. The Catherian ships dropped bombs from orbit. Each explosion killed thousands of people. Homes, schools, hospitals, everything burned. Sarah Brooks was working in the Colony Medical Center when the attack started. She was trying to save children when the building fell down on top of her. Her last transmission was simple: "Tell my family I love them." By the time the Catherians finished with Mars, 30,000 humans were dead. But the worst was yet to come. Admiral Alex Turner commanded the defense platforms around Titan. When the Catherian fleet arrived, he had only 6 ships and a dozen fighters. He knew he could not win, but he tried anyway. The battle around Titan lasted 3 hours. Turner's small force fought with everything they had. They saved most of the civilian population, but the cost was terrible. When the shooting stopped, Turner's flagship was damaged and surrounded. The Catherians took him prisoner along with 50 of his crew. 3 days later, every screen in human space showed the same image. Admiral Turner was on his knees in front of a Catherian execution squad. General Vextar stood beside him. "Humans of Earth," Vextar said in broken English. "Your colonies are ours now. Your ships are destroyed. Your people are dead. Join the Catherian Empire or watch your world burn like your colonies?" Turner looked straight at the camera. His face was bloody, but his eyes were hard. "Don't you dare surrender to these animals. Make them pay for every drop of human blood." Vextar shot him in the head. The video went to every human settlement, every ship, every person in Earth space. By the time it finished playing, something had changed in humanity. The peaceful species that wanted no part in galactic war was gone. President Morrison watched the video in his office with his full cabinet. When it ended, the room was silent for a long minute. "Mr. President," Defense Secretary Lisa Carter said quietly, "what are your orders?" Morrison's face looked like stone. "Get me Congress. Get me the military leaders. Get me everyone." "Sir, what should I tell them?" Morrison stood up and walked to his window. Below him, people were gathering in the streets. They had seen the video too. They knew what it meant. "Tell them we have a war to plan," Morrison said. "And tell General Vextar that he just made the biggest mistake in galactic history." On Luna Station, Admiral Rodriguez was already making calls to secret bases nobody knew existed, to weapons labs hidden in asteroids, to ships that had been waiting in the dark between stars. Earth had stayed out of the galactic war for 3 years. They had been patient. They had been peaceful. They had tried to avoid the violence. That time was over. Dr. Amy Sullivan got the call in her underground lab. 3 words that changed everything. Release the weapons. The galaxy was about to learn what humans were really capable of when someone killed their children. The joint session of Congress had never been so quiet. Every senator, every representative sat in complete silence. They had all seen the video of Admiral Turner's execution. They had all seen the reports from the colonies. President Jake Morrison walked to the podium. His speech was not long. It did not need to be. 3 days ago they came to our colonies, he said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were cold as ice. They killed our miners on Europa. They burned our families on Mars. They murdered our children while they played in parks and went to school. The chamber stayed silent. Everyone knew what was coming. They wanted us to choose a side in their war, Morrison continued. They said we were cowards for staying neutral. They called us weak for wanting peace. Morrison paused and looked at every face in the room. We choose our own side. And may God help them all. The vote was not even close. War was declared by 534 votes to 1. The single vote against came from an old man who remembered the last time humanity had gone to war with itself. He was afraid of what Earth might become. He was right to be afraid. Admiral Ben Rodriguez got the call at Luna Station. President Morrison's words were simple. Ben, you have full authority. Use everything we have. End this fast. Rodriguez had been waiting for this moment for 3 years. He walked to his communication center and sent out messages that had been prepared long ago. Messages to places that did not officially exist. The first message went to Captain Don Foster at the Pluto shipyards. The yards were supposed to be building cargo ships and mining equipment. That was what the public records said. The truth was very different. Dan, this is Admiral Rodriguez. Authorization code. Thunder Strike Alpha. You are cleared to reveal the fleet. Captain Foster smiled as he read the message. For 2 years he had been building ships in the dark beyond Pluto, ships that no government inspector had ever seen. Ships designed for only one purpose. All construction crews, this is Captain Foster. Operation Hidden Thunder is now active. Prepare the fleet for departure. Beyond Pluto, in the cold darkness between stars, massive doors opened in what looked like empty space. The doors had been hidden by advanced technology that bent light around them. As they opened, the galaxy's deadliest secret was revealed. 57 warships emerged from their hiding places. They were bigger than anything Earth had ever admitted to building. The EDS Retribution was the size of a small moon. The ED's Vengeance carried weapons that could crack planets. The ED's Thunder Strike was Admiral Rodriguez's new flagship, and it was beautiful and terrible to see. Each ship was painted in Earth's new war colors, deep black with silver trim. No bright colors, no fancy decorations. They looked like what they were, tools for killing. Dr. Amy Sullivan was in her underground lab when the authorization came through. For 3 years, her team had been building weapons the galaxy had never seen. Now it was time to use them. Chris, Nicole, everyone listen up, she called to her team. We just got the green light. Start loading the gravity bombs onto the fleet and bring up the stellar disruptor. Chris Parker looked nervous. All of them, even the big one? Especially the big one, Amy said. They wanted to see human weapons? Let's show them what we've been working on. The weapons Dr. Sullivan had created were based on physics that other species barely understood. Gravity bombs that could crush anything, no matter how strong. Plasma cannons that burned hotter than stars. And the stellar disruptor, a weapon so terrible that Amy had hoped never to use it, but the Catherians had crossed a line. They had killed children. Now they would learn what happened when you made humans angry. Commander Kate Anderson was in charge of mobilizing Earth's hidden forces. She sent orders to secret bases all over the solar system. Bases that had been disguised as research stations or mining operations. From the asteroid belt came the Scorpion Squadron, 30 attack ships designed to hunt and kill larger vessels. From the moons of Saturn came the Hunter Division, ships built for long-range strikes deep in enemy space. From hidden bases on Earth's moon came the Death Dealers, fighters so fast and deadly that no enemy pilot would survive meeting them. But the most important message went to Lieutenant Sam Brooks at the Communications Center. He had a special job to do. All Earth Defense Force vessels, all merchant marine ships, all private craft. Sam broadcast on every frequency humans used. This is not a drill. We are at war. Return to Earth space immediately for orders and weapons. The response was immediate. Human ships all across the galaxy changed course and headed home. Cargo haulers, passenger liners, research vessels, mining ships. They all heard the call and came. What the galaxy did not know was that many of these civilian ships had secret weapon compartments. What looked like a simple cargo hauler could transform into a missile destroyer in hours. What appeared to be a passenger liner was actually a troop transport designed to carry an entire army. Earth had been preparing for war for 50 years. They had just been very good at hiding it. On Luna Station, Admiral Rodriguez watched his forces gather. Ships arrived every hour from every corner of human space. The hidden fleet emerged from its secret bases. The weapon ships came up from Earth's deepest underground factories. "Sir," Colonel Kate Anderson reported, "we have 412 ships ready for combat. Another 200 arriving within 6 hours," Rodriguez nodded. "And the new weapons?" Dr. Sullivan says the gravity bombs are loaded and ready. The plasma cannons are charged. And the stellar disruptor? What about it? Kate's face was pale. She says it's ready, but she hopes we never have to use it. It could destroy an entire star system. Rodriguez felt a cold satisfaction. Good, let's hope the Catherians are smart enough to surrender before we show them everything. But Rodriguez knew they would not surrender. Species that murdered children and executed prisoners were not smart enough to know when they were beaten. They would have to be taught. President Morrison's second speech was broadcast to the entire galaxy. It was shorter than the first. "To the Catherian Empire," he said, looking directly into the camera. "You have 72 hours to withdraw from all human space and surrender those responsible for war crimes. If you do not, we will come for you, we will find you, and we will end you." General Vexstar received the message on his flagship. He laughed as he watched it. "Humans threaten us," he said to his staff. "With what? Their mining ships? Their cargo haulers?" His intelligence officer looked worried. "Sir, our scouts report unusual activity in human space. Large ships moving toward our border." "How large?" "Bigger than our battleships, sir, much bigger." Vexstar stopped laughing. "How many?" "We are not sure. They appeared from nowhere. Our sensors cannot count them all." For the first time since the attack began, Vexstar felt afraid, but he was too proud to back down now. "Send word to all fleets," he ordered. "Prepare for the human attack. If they want war, we will give them war." It was the last mistake he would ever make. Earth was no longer neutral. Earth was no longer peaceful. Earth was coming, and hell was coming with it. The first battle happened at Proxima Centauri. General Vexstar had sent his best fleet there to stop the humans before they could reach Catherian space. 37 warships waited in formation, ready to show these weak humans how real soldiers fought. Admiral Ben Rodriguez arrived with only 12 ships. Vexstar watched from his command ship as the human fleet approached. The human ships were bigger than his intelligence reports had said, but 12 ships against 37 was still an easy victory. "All ships, attack formation," Vexstar ordered. "Let us end this quickly." The Catherian fleet charged forward, weapons blazing. Their plasma cannons and missile pods fired everything they had at the approaching human ships. Nothing happened. The human ships flew through the Catherian weapons fire like it was not even there. Their shields did not even flicker. Energy beams that could melt mountains bounced off their hulls like raindrops. "Impossible," Vexstar whispered. Then the humans fired back. The EDS Thunder Strike's main weapon looked like a simple cannon. But when it fired, space itself seemed to tear open. The beam punched through 3 Catherian battleships in a straight line, turning them into expanding clouds of metal and fire. "What was that?" Vextar screamed at his weapons officer. I don't... No, sir. Our scanners cannot identify the energy type. The other human ships opened fire. Each shot destroyed a Cytherian vessel completely. No explosions, no debris. The ships simply stopped existing. In 12 minutes, 37 Cytherian warships became empty space. Not one human ship had taken any damage. Admiral Rodriguez sent a message to all surviving Cytherian escape pods. Tell your leaders what you saw here. Tell them this was just the beginning. Captain Dan Foster led the attack on Outpost Kythara, the Empire's strongest fortress in this part of the galaxy. The base was built inside a huge asteroid and protected by the most powerful shields the Cytherians had ever made. Foster brought 6 ships and a new weapon. Dr. Sullivan called a gravity bomb, target locked, his weapons officer reported. Gravity. Bomb armed and ready. Fire, Foster said. The bomb looked small as it flew toward the asteroid. But when it hit the shields, something impossible happened. The shields did not break. They collapsed inward, pulling the entire asteroid with them. In 30 seconds. A fortress that had taken 10 years to build became a ball of crushed metal the size of a car. The 600,000 Cytherians inside did not have time to scream. Foster's report was simple. Outpost Kythara has been removed from existence, moving to next target. News of the human attacks spread across the galaxy in hours. Species that had been fighting each other for 3 years suddenly stopped to watch something much more frightening. Ambassador Veltar of the Zephyrian Alliance came to Earth as fast as his ship could fly. He met with President Morrison in the White House, hoping to make humans his allies. President Morrison, Veltar said, your people fight with great skill. Join the alliance. Together we can defeat the Cytherian Empire and bring peace to the galaxy. Morrison looked at the alien ambassador with cold eyes. Where were you 3 years ago when we asked both sides to stop fighting? We were defending our people. You were making war, Morrison cut him off. You had 3 years to end this conflict. You chose to keep killing instead. Veltar's tentacles moved nervously. But now we can work together. No, Morrison said. We will finish this war in our own way. You can surrender to us when we are done, just like the Cytherians will. The ambassador left Earth knowing that humanity would accept no allies and no partners. They would end the Galactic War alone. Dr. Amy Sullivan stood in front of her greatest creation. The stellar disruptor was the size of a city building and contained enough power to make stars explode. She had hoped never to use it, but the Cytherians had left her no choice. Dr. Sullivan, Admiral Rodriguez said over the communication link, are you ready for the demonstration? Amy looked at her team. Chris Parker and Nicole Hayes stood beside their control panels, ready to unleash something that should not exist. Yes, Admiral, the target system is uninhabited. No planets with life. Good, the entire galaxy is watching. Let us show them what happens when humans get serious about war. Amy pressed the activation button. Far away, in an empty star system on the edge of Cytherian space, a small probe fired the stellar disruptor at the local sun. The star lasted 4 minutes after being hit. Then it exploded in a supernova that could be seen from 1,000 light-years away. The message that went out with the demonstration was simple. Any species that attacks human citizens will face this response. Any world that harbors those who killed our people will face this response. Any fleet that enters human space will face this response. The galaxy went silent. In 3,000 years of recorded history, no species had ever destroyed a star on purpose. It was considered impossible, immoral, unthinkable. Humans had just made it look easy. Commander Tony Richards led the liberation of the former human colonies, but it was not a rescue mission. It was revenge. Every Cytherian base and former human space was wiped out completely. Every ship, every soldier, every installation disappeared. Richards did not take prisoners. He did not accept surrenders. He simply erased everything Cytherian from human territory. When his forces reached Europa, they found the mass graves where the Cytherians had buried human civilians. Richards stood over the graves for a long time, then gave his orders. Find every Catherian in this system, all of them. I don't care if they are soldiers, workers, or refugees. They came to our space. They killed our people. They all pay the price. By the end of the day, Europa was human again. There were no Catherian survivors to tell what had happened. The war was turning into something the galaxy had never seen. Not a fight between equals, but a complete massacre. Human ships moved through Catherian space like death itself. They destroyed everything they found and left no witnesses. Colonel Megan Walsh commanded the Earth Defense Force Marines. Her job was to capture important Catherian leaders for war crimes trials. But every time her forces landed on a Catherian world, the enemy commanders killed themselves rather than face human justice. They are more afraid of being captured than of dying, she reported to Admiral Rodriguez. Good, Rodriguez replied. Fear is a weapon too. The Catherian Empire began to fall apart. Planets surrendered to Earth rather than fight. Whole fleets defected to human space, hoping for mercy. Star systems declared independence and begged humans for protection. General Vextar, the architect of the attack on human colonies, made his last stand at the Catherian homeworld. He had 200 ships and the strongest defenses in the Empire. Admiral Rodriguez brought 50 ships and Dr. Sullivan's newest creation, a weapon that could turn matter into energy at the atomic level. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Catherian home fleet was gone. Vextar-S flagship was torn apart by weapons that attacked the very atoms that held it together as his ship died around him. Vextar sent one final message. We thought they were weak. We thought they were cowards. We were so very wrong. The galaxy would remember those words for a very long time. Earth had been neutral for 3 years. Earth had been peaceful and patient and careful. That Earth was gone forever. In its place was something new, a species that could end stars and crack. Planets led by people who would never forget what happened to their children. The war was almost over. Only the cleanup remained. The war ended not with a treaty, but with complete surrender. The Catherian Empire simply stopped existing as an organized force. Their fleets were destroyed, their leaders dead, and their worlds in chaos. What remained of their government sent a message to Earth that was broadcast across the galaxy. We surrender completely to the human forces, the message said. We beg for mercy and ask only to be allowed to live. President Jake Morrison's response was broadcast on every communication channel in known space. The Catherian Empire is dissolved. All Catherian military forces will disarm immediately. All war criminals will surrender for trial. All former Catherian worlds are now under human protection. Any resistance will be met with total destruction. But Morrison was not finished. His next words changed the galaxy forever. The same terms apply to all species. This war has shown that the galaxy cannot police itself. From this day forward, Earth will maintain the peace. The Zephyrian Alliance thought they would be different. They had not attacked Earth. They had even offered to be allies. Surely the humans would treat them as friends. Ambassador Veltar came to Earth again, this time with a delegation of Alliance leaders. They met President Morrison in the same room where the war had been declared 6 months earlier. President Morrison, Veltar said, we are grateful for your victory over the Catherians. Now we can work together to rebuild the galaxy. Morrison looked at the alien delegation with the same cold eyes he had shown before. There will be no working together. There will be only human law. But we were not your enemies, another ambassador protested. We offered alliance. You offered alliance when you thought you could use us, Morrison replied. Before that, you spent 3 years destroying worlds and killing billions. You are no better than the Catherians. Defense Secretary Lisa Carter stepped forward with a tablet. These are the terms for all former combatants. Complete disarmament of all military forces, removal of all weapons of mass destruction, payment of reparations for war damage, acceptance of human monitoring stations in all major systems. The Alliance ambassadors stared at the terms in shock. This is not peace, Veltar said. This is conquest. This is order, Morrison corrected. You could not keep the peace, so we will. The Alliance delegates left Earth knowing they had no choice but to accept. Human fleets were already moving toward their space. The demonstration with the destroyed star was still visible in their night skies. Admiral Ben Rodriguez stood on the bridge of his flagship as it entered the former Cytherian capital system. The planet below had once been the center of a mighty empire. Now it was just another world under human control. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "the planetary government is requesting permission to speak with you." "Put them through," Rodriguez said, the alien face that appeared on his screen was thin and desperate. "Admiral Rodriguez, we are honored by your presence. Our world surrenders completely to human authority." "Good," Rodriguez said. "You have 48 hours to turn over all military equipment and weapons. After that, a human administrator will take control of your government." "Administrator? But we have already surrendered. Can we not govern ourselves under human oversight?" Rodriguez's expression did not change. "You had your chance to govern yourselves. You chose war instead. Now humans will make sure you never choose war again." The process was the same on every world. Human administrators took control of all government functions. Human inspectors removed all weapons. Human monitors watched for any sign of military build-up or aggressive behavior. The galaxy that had once been free was now a collection of human PROTCTORATS. Dr. Amy Sullivan was building new weapons even though the war was over. Her underground lab had expanded into a massive complex that employed thousands of scientists and engineers. "Doctor," Chris Parker asked, "why are we still building weapons?" "The war is finished." Amy looked up from her work on something she called a planet cracker. "The war is finished, but the peace is just beginning. Peace requires strength. Peace requires fear." "Fear of what?" "Fear of us," Amy said simply. "As long as every species in the galaxy knows that humans can destroy them completely, there will be no more wars." Nicole Hayes was working on the newest project, a weapon that could destroy entire star systems without leaving any trace they had ever existed. It was horrible and terrible and perfectly human. "How many of these should we build?" Nicole asked. "Enough to make sure no one ever forgets who is in charge." Amy replied. Captain Ashley Morgan commanded the Ed's Dominion, one of the new super battleships that patrolled human space. Her ship was twice the size of the old Thunderstrike and carried weapons that could level continents. She was on patrol near the former Zephyrian homeworld when her sensor officer, Ensign Nick Taylor, detected something unusual. "Captain, I'm reading weapon signatures from the fourth planet. Looks like someone is building military equipment." Ashley studied the readings. The energy patterns showed factories producing fighter craft and missile systems. Someone was trying to rebuild their military in secret. "Standard protocol," Ashley ordered. "Fire a warning shot into their sun." The Dominion's solar disruption cannon fired a single beam at the system's star. The star flared briefly, becoming 10 times brighter for exactly 60 seconds. Every planet in the system felt the heat and saw the light. Ashley opened a communication channel to the planet. "This is Captain Morgan of the Human Defense Force. You have been detected building military equipment. You have 1 hour to destroy all weapons and surrender those responsible. If you do not comply, we will demonstrate." "Why? The galaxy stays peaceful now." The response came in 30 minutes. "Captain Morgan, this is Governor Telvash. All military construction has stopped. The responsible parties are in custody. Please do not hurt our people." "Your compliance is noted," Ashley replied. "A human inspection team will arrive tomorrow. This will not happen again." After she closed the channel, Ensign Taylor asked, "What if they had refused, Captain?" Ashley looked at him with eyes that had seen too much war. "Then we would have shown them what happens to the fourth planet, and the third, and the second, until they understood. The new galactic order was simple. Earth was the center of everything. Human ships patrolled every system. Human administrators controlled every government. Human weapons kept the peace through the promise of absolute destruction. Trade flowed according to human regulations. Disputes were settled by human arbitrators. Resources were distributed by human planners. The galaxy ran smoothly for the first time in centuries, but it was not freedom. It was order imposed by overwhelming force. Some species tried to resist. The Valkyrie Confederation attempted to form a secret alliance against human rule. Human intelligence detected their plans in 3 days. The Confederation's homeworlds were visited by human fleets carrying planet-killing weapons. The resistance ended immediately. The Thraxian Republic tried to hide weapons in deep space installations. Human sensors found every cache. The installations were destroyed by gravity bombs that left no trace they had ever existed. After 5 attempts at rebellion were crushed without mercy, the galaxy learned its lesson. Human rule was absolute. Human law was final. Human weapons were beyond resistance. President Morrison established the human hegemony with Earth as its eternal capital. The old galactic councils were dissolved. The old treaties were voided. The old way of doing things was gone forever. Ambassador Lauren Spencer became the first human High Administrator of Galactic Affairs. Her job was to manage the dozens of species under human control. "Remember," she told her staff, "we are not conquerors. We are peacekeepers. We did not start this war, but we finished it. We do not rule through cruelty, but through strength." But everyone knew the truth. Humanity ruled because they could destroy anyone who opposed them. The galaxy was peaceful because the alternative was extinction. Years passed. Children grew up knowing only human law. Trade prospered under human protection. Wars became impossible under human oversight. The galaxy was safe, orderly, and completely under human control. And in the deep laboratories under Earth's mountains, Dr. Amy Sullivan continued building weapons that could end entire civilizations. Just in case anyone forgot who was really in charge, the war had lasted 6 months. The peace would last forever, because Earth had learned that sometimes, to save the galaxy from itself, you had to rule it completely.